Join our family of creators. Your support means the world to us. Subscribe now to the Content Creator channel. Your support keeps us motivated and helps us bring you fresh, exciting content every week. Hit that subscribe button and be part of our journey. The intricate web of global trade, particularly the relationship between the United States and China, stands as a cornerstone of modern economic stability. However, recent months have seen this vital artery of the world economy subjected to unprecedented stress. The imposition of significant trade restrictions by the Trump administration has ushered in a period of profound uncertainty and volatility, impacting not just the two economic giants but nations worldwide. The repercussions are being felt across various sectors, from manufacturing floors in the American Midwest to tech companies in Silicon Valley, and from Chinese exporters to consumers around the globe. The current chapter of trade tensions can be traced back to the spring of 2025, with the introduction of the Liberation Day tariffs. Launched on April 2nd, these measures signaled a more aggressive stance by the Trump administration, targeting a wide array of Chinese goods. In an attempt to de-escalate and find a path towards a resolution, a temporary trade truce was established in May 2025. This truce included a crucial 90-day pause on certain tariffs, designed to provide a window for negotiations between U.S. and Chinese officials. However, the underlying issues remained deeply entrenched, and the goodwill generated by the truce proved to be fragile. The fragility of this truce became starkly apparent on May 31, 2025, when President Trump publicly accused China of violating the terms of the trade agreement. This cycle of accusations, tariff hikes, and threatened retaliations has created a volatile environment, making it exceedingly difficult for businesses to plan and invest with confidence. The impact of escalating trade tensions has been acute within the U.S. manufacturing sector. Recent data shows an industry grappling with headwinds. The U.S. manufacturing sector contracted for the third consecutive month in May 2025. The ISM reported its PMI at 48.5%, indicating contraction. New orders declined, suggesting businesses are hesitant amidst uncertainty. Production levels fell, reflecting reduced demand and disrupted supply chains. Employment within the manufacturing sector decreased, indicating companies are scaling back their workforce. The trade conflict has increasingly extended into the critical domain of technology, with the U.S. administration implementing new curbs on shipments to China. On May 29, 2025, a significant directive was issued, ordering American companies to cease shipping certain advanced technology goods to China without first obtaining a specific license. This move is widely seen as an effort to limit China's technological advancement in strategic sectors and protect U.S. intellectual property and national security interests. The restrictions target a range of products deemed crucial for key industries. These include sophisticated design software and specialized chemicals essential for semiconductor manufacturing, directly impacting major U.S. firms like Cadence, Synopsys, and the EDA division of Siemens. Beyond semiconductors, the curbs also apply to substances such as butane and ethane, vital machine tools, and certain types of aviation equipment. The U.S. Commerce Department has stated that it will review license requests for these restricted items on a case-by-case basis. Companies involved in the affected supply chains now face the challenge of navigating these new rules, which could lead to disruptions in production, increased compliance costs, and a re-evaluation of their international business strategies. China's reaction to these technology curbs has been one of strong condemnation. The Chinese Foreign Ministry criticized the U.S. actions, asserting that they disrupt global supply chains and undermine the international trade order. The Trump administration's aggressive tariff policies have not gone unchallenged within the United States. A significant legal battle has unfolded in the U.S. Court of International Trade, where the president's authority to impose broad tariffs under emergency powers has been questioned. In a notable ruling, the court found that President Trump had indeed overstepped his authority in implementing some of these widespread tariffs. This decision represented a substantial legal setback for the administration, suggesting that the unilateral imposition of such measures might not withstand judicial scrutiny. However, the legal landscape remains fluid and fraught with uncertainty. Following the Court of International Trade's ruling, an appeals court granted a temporary pause, allowing President Trump's tariffs to remain in effect pending further legal review. The White House has been resolute in its stance, vowing to appeal the initial ruling further, potentially taking the case all the way to the Supreme Court if necessary. The legal timeline has several critical upcoming dates that are being closely watched by all stakeholders. The outcomes of these court proceedings will have profound implications for U.S. trade policy and presidential powers. In response to the tariffs imposed by the United States, China has implemented its own set of retaliatory measures, carefully calibrated to exert pressure on American exporters. Beijing announced tariffs targeting key U.S. industries, including a 15% duty on American coal and liquefied natural gas, and a 10% tariff on U.S. crude oil exports. Furthermore, agricultural machinery and large-engine cars, significant export categories for the United States, were also hit with new import taxes. The trade war is also taking a toll on China's own economic outlook. Reflecting the impact of both U.S. tariffs and its own retaliatory actions, as well as the broader global uncertainty, China's economic growth forecast for 2025 has been adjusted downwards. Projections now indicate a growth rate of 4.4%, a noticeable reduction from previous estimates. Beyond direct tariffs, China has signaled its willingness to use other economic levers. Reports from May 20, 2025, indicated that despite the temporary trade truce established earlier that month, Beijing was not lifting its controls over the export of rare earth minerals. These minerals are critical for a wide range of advanced technologies, including those used in the U.S. defense industry. By maintaining these controls, China retains a powerful bargaining chip. The escalating trade tensions between the United States and China have sent shockwaves through global supply chains, causing significant disruptions, particularly across Asia. These intricate networks, built over decades to optimize efficiency and cost, are now facing unprecedented challenges. Companies that rely on the seamless flow of goods and components between the two economic giants, and through regional manufacturing hubs, are scrambling to adapt. The imposition of tariffs and the threat of further restrictions have created an environment of acute uncertainty, forcing businesses to reevaluate sourcing strategies, inventory levels, and even their long-term manufacturing footprints. Factory output across Asia registered a decline in May 2025, a direct consequence of reduced demand from China and the ongoing effects of U.S. tariffs. China, often referred to as the world's factory, plays a central role in many Asian supply chains, both as a final assembler and as a major consumer of intermediate goods from neighboring countries. As Chinese manufacturing slows due to U.S. tariffs and its own economic adjustments, the ripple effects are felt throughout the region. Countries like Vietnam, South Korea, Japan, and Taiwan, which are deeply integrated into these supply networks, are experiencing downturns in their industrial sectors. A particularly contentious issue within this trade conflict is the control over rare earth minerals. China currently dominates the global market, controlling approximately 70% of the mining and a staggering 90% of the processing for these critical materials. These minerals are indispensable for a vast array of modern technologies, including smartphones, electric vehicles, and advanced U.S. military hardware. China's apparent willingness to use its control over rare earths as a negotiating tool, by potentially withholding them, adds a significant layer of strategic risk for the U.S. and other technologically advanced nations. The escalating trade war between the United States and China has inevitably led to heightened volatility in global financial markets. Investors, grappling with the uncertainty of tariff announcements, retaliatory measures, and shifting policy statements, have become increasingly cautious. This nervousness was palpable in early June 2025, as markets reacted to the latest developments, including President Trump's decision to double tariffs on steel and aluminum. U.S. stock indices reflected this unease with noticeable declines. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, a key benchmark for the U.S. stock market, fell by 0.4% following the latest tariff news. Other major indices, including the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq Composite, also registered losses, indicating a broad-based market reaction to the renewed trade tensions. Sectors heavily reliant on international trade or with significant exposure to China were particularly affected. Simultaneously, oil prices experienced a significant surge, climbing by approximately 3%. The interconnectedness of global markets means that shocks in one area, such as trade policy, can quickly transmit to others, including essential commodities like oil. The general sentiment among investors and businesses is one of growing apprehension. The coming months are undeniably critical for the future trajectory of US-China trade relations. The current state of affairs, characterized by escalating tariffs, legal challenges, and retaliatory measures, has created a deeply unstable environment. The potential expiration of temporary tariff reductions, such as the scheduled resumption of the Liberation Day tariffs on July 8, looms large, threatening to further intensify the conflict. Ongoing legal battles over the president's tariff authority add another layer of unpredictability, making it difficult for businesses to anticipate the regulatory landscape even in the near term. Adding to this complex picture are the concurrent trade tensions between the United States and other major economic partners, notably the European Union. Geopolitical tensions and upcoming diplomatic engagements will also play a crucial role. The interactions and pronouncements emerging from such high-level meetings could either offer pathways to de-escalation or further entrench existing divisions. Ultimately, stakeholders across all industries recognize that a sustained global economic recovery hinges on resolving these pervasive trade conflicts and establishing long-term stable policies.